and welcome. This is WrastleTalk. I'm your host, Aldous Rex, and today's episode is about to put the Lucha Libre world in a chokehold. Earlier this year, WWE shook the wrestling world by acquiring Lucha Libre AAA Worldwide, one of Mexico's premier promotions, with decades of rich lucha history. While the deal promised cross-promotional excitement, many are now wondering if this move is the first step towards launching a new developmental territory, NXT Mexico. Much like NXT UK or NXT Europe, the rebranding of AAA could give WWE a foothold in Latin America and total control of Mexican wrestling's future. Is this a bold new chapter or a funeral for Lucha Libre tradition? The Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre has said just that AAA has gone to die in the WWE, and that now they, AAA's rival and oldest Lucha Libre promotion in the world, is now the true home of Lucha Libre 100% Mexicana, 100% Mexican. Are they right? Do they know something we don't know? Do they know WWE's real intentions for AAA? Today's episode tackles a topic that could change the face of Lucha Libre forever as we know it. NXT Mexico. Will WWE rebrand AAA Lucha Libre Worldwide? NXT Mexico incoming? WWE's future plans for AAA Lucha Libre. WWE AAA, is NXT Mexico the next global brand? NXT Mexico, WWE's bold new vision for Lucha Libre. AAA reborn? Could WWE transform AAA into NXT Mexico? WWE to rebrand AAA. What we know about NXT Mexico. NXT Mexico or AAA 2.0. WWE's takeover of Lucha Libre. AAA Lucha Libre becomes NXT Mexico. WWE's global expansion will be explained. From AAA to NXT Mexico, WWE's latest power play for Lucha Libre. Will AAA become WWE's NXT Mexico? Lucha Libre's next chapter could be a dark one. WWE's next international move, NXT Mexico or a AAA revamp? NXT Mexico. What's the future of AAA under WWE's banner? AAA under new management, WWE plans Mexican NXT. Lucha Libre Revolution, WWE's vision for AAA as NXT Mexico. WWE's Lucha Invasion. Is AAA the next NXT brand? Is AAA Lucha Libre doomed or destined for NXT greatness? These are all the headlines circulating here on WrastleTalk. And us true Lucha Libre fans can't help but be skeptical. I mean, I remember, if you go back in the day, you hear Jesse Ventura talking about Tito Santana is nothing but a dirty Mexican taco salesman. Vince McMahon used to have the minis as some type of sideshow freaks. I mean, they kind of are, but he took it to another level. I remember one night, Mascarita Sagrada was doing the Macarena while they were singing about how he comes from the land where you don't drink the water. What else? I mentioned Tito Santana being a taco salesman. I mean, you could easily hear Chad Gable say, "Oh, what's AAA? AAA? I thought that was like, for my car. I thought that was an insurance company when I'm stranded on the side of the road. I'm going to call AAA." And I remember hearing Jim Cornette say that Mil Mascaras' move is the flying burrito. So do the gringos make fun of Mexican Lucha Libre? They sure do. So Mexican fans have every right to be skeptical right now as to what's going to happen to Lucha Libre now that it's in WWE's hands. In this must-listen episode of WrestleTalk, we explore the burning question on every Lucha Libre fan's mind. Is WWE planning to rebrand AAA into NXT Mexico? Now that WWE owns AAA Lucha Libre Worldwide, the rumor mill is heating up with speculation about a possible rebrand or relaunch of the AAA brand under NXT Mexico's global expansion banner. We're going to dive into this podcast of what a potential NXT Mexico could look like, how this move could affect the identity, the tradition, the culture, the Mexican culture of AAA Lucha Libre. And I think if there's anybody over at NXT that knows about the Lucha Libre tradition over at NXT, it's the legend HBK Shawn Michaels, who was trained by the great Jose Lothario. So Michaels understands Lucha Libre because it was a style he used himself in the ring. AAA's classic legacy will be honored or erased. AAA's identity versus WWE's machine is what we're seeing here. AAA is known for its vibrant style. Really reminds me more of a Lucha Libre version of ECW with the mask culture and the chaotic match formats. Will WWE keep that identity intact? Or will WWE sanitize AAA to have it fit its WWE mold? Is WWE considering turning AAA into a performance center style brand for Latin America? They would have tryouts under WWE's system, which could begin in Mexico City. Rumors say that WWE may use AAA's infrastructure to build their own NXT Mexico brand. Fully scripted, English-friendly, worldwide, and ready. Well, if you need any luchadores or commentators, Aldous Rex is your man, is the main man, el mero mero. Set to be a major culture clash. We're talking about a promotion that's given us legends like La Parca, Cibernetico, Psycho Clown, Pentagon Jr., many other legends. You keep going back. And now it may soon feature WWE-approved characters and creative control from Stanford. Is this expansion or invasion? WWE and AAA have been working together for years. I recall seeing Mexican luchadores on the shows as back as the late 90s, going to the Royal Rumble. They were prominent in WCW, so Vince brought them over for a trial period. Is this what it's going to be, a trial period for AAA before they rebrand them into NXT Mexico? Now, let's talk about what this will mean for the luchadores. Let's talk about the talent. We already know guys like Dragon Lee thrived in NXT. We've seen Santos Escobar come from AAA to NXT, formerly El Hijo del Fantasma, rise in the WWE ranks. And now the rumored signing of El Hijo del Vikingo is heating up. But what about homegrown AAA stars? Will AAA stars be willing to trade their masks for a contract? I'm sure they might approach some and tell them to take off the mask to play a certain character, a different character. Would they be willing to do that? Or will they resist a possible creative overhaul? Like I said, a major culture clash is on its way. There's also the fear that WWE's creative team may not understand Lucha Libre culture and force Lucha stars into gimmicks that could erase what they've been working on, what's made them iconic. So it has Lucha fans divided. Some Lucha fans are excited to see their favorite luchadores on a worldwide stage, such as WWE. Others feel that WWE's takeover will lead to a blanding of the product, a more watered-down version, WWE's watered-down version of Lucha Libre, less lucha and more corporate sports entertainment. A growing hashtag is making its rounds on the internet. Keep Lucha Libre Lucha. Hashtag Keep Lucha Libre Lucha. The real Lucha fans want authenticity. They want pageantry. They want the masks. They want the legacies. Not a watered-down sports entertainment version of Mexican wrestling. So will WWE listen? Current headlines read WWE considering rebranding AAA as NXT Mexico after acquisition. Now, it's been reported that after the deal between AAA and WWE is finalized, WWE will own 50% or more of Lucha Libre AAA Worldwide. WWE has already begun making plans to pair up WWE's NXT superstars with AAA Luchadores at upcoming events such as Worlds Collide and Triple Mania Regia. The success of both of those shows could be pivotal to the Lucha Libre brand, maintaining its identity and not changing to NXT, as both WWE and AEW are using Lucha Libre in Mexico to start a proxy war against themselves by pinning AAA against CMLL in Mexico. As rival promotion, AEW is also planning events in Mexico with the Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre. Now, I and many other Mexican lucha fans are not opposed to WWE working with AAA and creating a show, maybe a television program or an event with AAA and NXT working together. But everything indicates that they're considering rebranding AAA as NXT. It all begins with NXT Takeover Mexico City. Event in LA, Worlds Collide. They could do a show with both brands matched up against one another. But right now, we will just have to wait and see who wins the proxy war in Mexico between WWE and AEW. With the success of these Mexican shows they have coming up, that could very well determine if AAA becomes NXT Mexico. So the ticket sales for those individual shows are going to be pivotal. Will the hallowed franchise AAA Lucha Libre legacy be erased by WWE and become NXT Mexico? AAA into NXT Mexico may be the next domino to fall in the Mexican Lucha Libre world. Could it create opportunities? Absolutely. Could it create better salaries and benefits for the wrestlers, the luchadores, and so on? Yes, totally. Could it erase Lucha Libre tradition? This is also possible. But if WWE really wants to honor Lucha Libre, they need to respect the culture and trust the talent, because Lucha Libre isn't just wrestling, it's Mexico's identity. Look, whether we like it or not, WWE is expanding. Triple H is building a worldwide pipeline of talent. Now, my final thoughts are this: is NXT Mexico inevitable? I mean, historically, there has been disrespect by the WWE when it comes to Lucha Libre. Fast forward to present day, you have El Grande Americano. Grande Americano. Sounds like a fucking coffee you order at Starbucks. I'll have the Grande Americano, please. El Grande Americano, whose very existence could be considered a slap in the face to Lucha Libre, literally, as a Lucha Libre purist myself. Every breath El Grande Americano takes as a Mexican Lucha Libre fan is an assault to our honor. Because El Grande Americano is El Grande Pendejo, if you ask us. It's marketing and comedic gold. I mean, come on, it's wrestling, right? And being wrestling needs good guys, wrestling needs bad guys, and El Grande Americano is always going to be a bad guy, according to Mexican lucha fans. It's a show. Oh, man, I wrestled in Mexico. I drank the water, had diarrhea, man, for days. It was worse than eating Taco Bell. It comes natural as an Americano, so I can't wait to hear El Grande Americano get on the mic and start talking a bunch of pendejadas and babosadas to the new luchadors. It'll be hilarious, but yeah, I mean, it's disrespectful to Mexico and Mexican fans, Mexican Lucha Libre fans, if WWE is showing up already in Mexico and telling them that they have to speak English in Mexico, and then watering down their art, their craft of Lucha Libre with their version of Lucha Libre sports entertainment style. That's not going to work. And like past partnerships with AAA and WWE, then WWF, it could be brief. But they have a storied past of working together, and Vince McMahon showcasing some of the best luchadores in the world, like Mil Máscaras, Biroth, Cibernetico, and others, like in that Royal Rumble. You could see it's also symbolic. WWE's big on symbolism. You see how they have El Grande Americano, who's basically a joke of a luchador. A joke beat Rey Fénix, a real luchador, at the Super Bowl of wrestling. And then right after, announced that they're buying Lucha Libre and this possible rebranding of AAA into the next NXT. Will WWE kill AAA Lucha Libre? Will AAA Lucha Libre die in the hands of the WWE? Or will the alianza between the United States and Mexico prove beneficial to Lucha Libre around the world? We'll just have to wait and see. Look, I don't have a problem with WWE taking over AAA as long as they don't get rid of those big-titted chichona models that walk out with the AAA flag for every event. As long as they don't get rid of them, then WWE is doing a good job. That's all for today's episode of WrastleTalk, where we hit harder than a top rope elbow drop. I'm Aldous Rex, and a reminder, whether it's WWE, AAA, or NXT Mexico, stay lucha. And be sure to subscribe on YouTube. Follow us at Titan Media Broadcasting. That's at Titan Media Broadcasting. Listen to the podcast on Spreaker.com. Titan Media Broadcasting on Spreaker.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Viva Lucha Libre. You've been listening to WrestleTalk.